I started out my second hunt of the 2018 fallow rut by shooting a young doe on a new property I gained access to. I knew there'd be deer around, but I wasn't sure what sort of opportunities I'd have to shoot some for the property owner, so I shot the first one I saw. They like eating venison too, so I dressed it out. My first walk was really only going to be a scout, so I had a small backpack with me and I was way up in the mountains and couldn't load it up with all the venison to take it back to camp, so I field dressed her and hung her over a log and intended to come back in the arvo. On my way back down, I saw lots of good country and animal sign. It's always fun when you get access to a new place to see what it has to offer. This photo was taken at my camp. Nice spot. I grabbed my big bag and walked back up the mountain and started to dress her out. Once again, I was taking my time, being very quiet and enjoying the afternoon. Time got away from me a little bit here, and before I knew it, the sun was going down. I could hear a few bucks croaking in the scrub around me, but I thought I'd chase them in the morning. I hadn't walked around this property in the dark before, so I wanted to make sure I could get back to camp with plenty of light left. You'll be amazed at what you run into if you spend some time in the bush just sitting quietly. And no sooner had I started walking back to camp, I ran into a couple of deer, one of them being this old buck. The wind was good and there was plenty of cover between me and him, but sometimes you have to be really careful the way you move when there are trees in front of you like this, because they can pick up that movement side to side really easily. So in this case, I was pinned down. He kept coming and didn't stop. He circled around me and without knowing it was going to wind me, so I tried to follow him with the camera as subtly as I could. I made sure my rifle was close so I could grab it quickly. Of course, he pulled up behind a tree where the camera couldn't see him. And in the couple of moments it took me to adjust to hopefully get the kill shot on camera, he saw me and winded me. Oh, he had to spring me, didn't he? I was lucky that he turned around to see what I was after a 20-yard dash. Some of the most unique antlers I've ever seen. I think partly because of genetics, being old, and also from being busted up so bad in the couple of weeks leading up to me shooting him. His neck was enormous. Anyhow, I cut his head off and his back straps and I put them in my backpack and made my way down to camp in the dark, which was hilarious. And the next morning, I woke up to go and recover his back legs. Being overcast, saw a lot of animals out and about well after sunrise, so I enjoyed seeing all the critters. This is looking into the neighbouring property here where I don't have permission to shoot, unfortunately. It was a great exercise in self-restraint and control to not open up on these pigs. Some sizable boars in the lot too. In a way, it's a blessing to be able to watch pigs and not be as concerned with shooting them, because you can learn a lot about them and the way they behave. It all became a bit much for me and I walked away before I did something stupid. It took me about an hour to get back up to where I left that buck's legs. When you eat as many does as I do, it's always surprising when you compare the size of the back legs of a doe to those of a buck. I lit my alcohol stove, brewed up a coffee and settled in for a morning of skinning and hiking. A caffeine hit is always welcome in the bush. It's great country to hunt, really rugged but beautiful. It holds plenty of deer, but they all go in the neighbouring property to feed of a night time, I think. You can see here I've bumped this buck on my way back to camp and he was out in the open having a feed. The property is almost entirely covered in scrub, and there are minimal roads, so hiking out the venison is the only way to get it back to camp. I'm not complaining though, it keeps you fit, makes you feel like you've earned it. And some of the places I hunt it can come pretty easy. That sums up my 2018 fallow deer rut. Thanks for watching.